Welcome to the Scrum Professionals Meetup. And it is my absolute pleasure and joy to get to introduce Lyssa Adkins. This is somebody that I have had the privilege of getting to kind of witness her just blossoming onto the scene in terms of agile coaching and all of that. We were talking a little bit before everybody joined us, and we figured out that we actually first met at the Scrum gathering in 2008. And I believe it was actually the first Scrum gathering that either of us attended. That was in Chicago. And then a year later, we were back in Chicago again for the big Agile conference. And then the following year, we got to hang out a little bit as she was really just like, poof, right? Just really happening like a fireworks almost. Because in 2010, she published Coaching Agile Teams, which to this day, right, is still like one of the best-selling Agile books. She co-founded the Agile Coaching Institute with Michael Spade that year. And Agile Learning Labs had the privilege of helping to put on two of the earliest Coaching Agile Teams workshops. And I was thrilled to participate in one of those workshops. To this day, I have like amazing memories of that experience. And so I love that, fast forward, here she is with us this evening. These days, her focus is on working with leaders. And I like the way she describes it. She says, helping them engage in the agile transformation that is theirs to do, theirs to take. And it's an intensely personal work for each leader and each kind of group of leaders to go on that journey. And that's kind of exciting. In kind of the community space, she's an avid supporter of the Women in Agile programs, which is super awesome. And on the personal side, she shared with me that her grown daughter continues to teach her things every day. And that, when she's not working, she's hanging out in her sailboat, which she and her husband keep on apparently at just giant lake. But she described it more as like a camper on water. So I'm thrilled that Lyssa's here with us. And without further ado, I'm going to be quiet. Lyssa, take it away.
Thanks, Chris. I'm super happy to be with you. Hi, people that I know, Olaf, JJ, Karen, Candace, Santosh, other people I know, other people I don't know, Lyssa, Christina, Jean, Molly, Meetup, we'll all get to know each other here. It's great to see you all here, and I'm so happy that we're doing this together. I'm happy this one in particular is being recorded because I think this is messaging that I wish more of us would engage in. So I want this to become as broadly available as possible. Okay, so my dear friends, our topic is integrating feminine and masculine energies for a better world, for a better business world, a better agile world, just a better world, right? So I'm going to start sharing a few things with you here. And I'm going to share some thoughts, and then we're going to move into action together because I'd really like you to have an experience of what I'm laying down here. And so one of you brave souls will choose to be a demo partner for me. And just to give you a little bit of thought about that is that you won't have to say very much about the situation or the decision that you're up to. You will just be exploring some different energies with me. And what we're doing is we're demonstrating what you all will do in pairs with each other. So that'll be, maybe about 30 minutes in. So if maybe you might be that demo partner, just start, putting that in the back of your brain right now, because we're going to need one. All right. So welcome to this topic. Let me just say that I am very aware that we are treading let's just call it some tender territory together. Just this general inquiry I'm in right now, and it really is an inquiry for me. I'm trying to learn as much as I can. I'm trying to tap into my own wisdom of my own mind and body about this. And as I look out into the world and I see the impact of our business decisions, like these chickens coming home to roost, I'm really genuinely engaged in this question of what if we invite more of the feminine energies into ourselves first, then into our conversations, our decisions, our thinking. Do we create better business outcomes? And do we create a better world? I'm believing so, but I'm not, this is a work in progress, I think is what I want to tell you. And I'm really more interested in the conversation, and I'm interested in what this opens up for people than, saying that I have an answer, because I surely do not. So we're about to go into a mossy forest together. The terrain we're about to cover is dicey. It's dicey. I mean, you just say feminine and masculine, just those two words, and all of a sudden, all kinds of things come up for people. There have been ways that we have been hurt by role expectations, by bodies that don't fit our identities. We've been pigeonholed. We've been stereotyped. We have been told we're to this and not enough that. And so what I want to be really clear about is I hold the view that in yourself, you can hold and I can hold all different kinds of energies. And some of them could be in the feminine basket of energies, and some of them can be the masculine basket of energy that has nothing to do with a female and a male body necessarily, or gender identity, or sexual orientation. These are just energies that any of us can hold. And the reason why I think it's important that we explore this is, because what if more feminine energies come online? Do we build a better world? Do we get more of the promise that Agile was all about in the beginning? So if I do or say something, or just even have a certain way I'm coming across that creates a disconnection between me and you, know that that's not my intention. And know that, as we step into territory like this, pretty much I can guarantee that I'm going to make mistakes. I'm going to do something unintentional that might create a disconnection. And if that happens, let me know. Stick around. I'll clean it up with you, I promise. Lyssa at lyssaadkins.com. It's super easy. You can always find me, okay? So let's just go ahead and center ourselves so that we're ready to walk into this mossy forest together. We're going to do a short version of what's called DIBS, DBS, which stands for dignity, belonging, and significance. It's a centering exercise so that you can tune more into what is actually happening for you, and get clear about your intention for what you're about to do. So it's going to take about 4 minutes or so. So the first dimension that I'm inviting you to center in is the dimension of length. And so if you just locate in your mind or in your imagination, locate the bottom of your tailbone, and then just start to trace that up all the way up your spine, all the way up through your neck and up to the top of your head. You might even find yourself growing a little bit taller. You can imagine a little string at the top of your head, just sort of pulling your head up a bit. So this is the dimension of dignity, self-sovereignty. Humans, we have this uprightness about us. We walk upright. There's something that's aspiring about us this way in our length, in our dignity. Just take a brief breath into your dignity, that you don't have to do anything to earn. It is yours. It always has been. Now locate your width. And to do that, you might locate the outside of each shoulder, maybe the outside of each hip. And see if you can just become a little bit wider. See if you can take up a little more space. And you might imagine there's a little handle in the middle of your chest, and that you just pull it out a little bit. And what that does is that broadens your chest, opens up your heart. Maybe your shoulders sink down, shoulder blades sink down a little bit down your back. Dimension of belonging. This is the dimension of connection, who you choose to be connected to, what connections you choose to let in. It's a place of healthy boundaries. And you're here. You belong. This community is open arms. So take a deep breath into your belonging. Now we're going to talk about your depth or your volume. This one's a little more tricky to locate. You might put a hand on your belly and a hand on your back. And we're talking about the space in between your two hands and sort of the volume of your body. This is the dimension of sufficiency. What's behind your hand on your back? That's all the stuff that got you here in this moment. Every decision you made, all the successful generations that had to happen to have you be here right now, all the stuff that has brought you here, that's the past. And that hand on your belly, in front of that hand on your belly is the future. It's not here yet. It's not here yet. And in between these two hands is the present. And in this present moment, you are enough. You are sufficient. You have enough, and more than enough is on the way for whatever is coming. So allow yourself to breathe into the volume of your body, your sufficiency. And now that we've centered in length, dignity, width, belonging, and depth, sufficiency, now you can just ask your body and mind to come up with an answer very naturally as to what is your intention for the next hour or so that we'll be spending together. What is your intention? And just let an answer arise. All right. Start to reconnect to yourself first. And then when you're ready, you can look out and notice these other people in boxes who are with you. And look around. See the company you keep. You can wave if you want. Put little heart emojis, whatever. Nice. Nice. Okay. So I want to lay down some things that I discovered along the way about this topic of energies and these baskets of masculine and feminine energies or yang and yin energies. And then I want to have us experience it. Yeah. So moving us to here, I've always been fascinated by this symbol, this yin yang symbol. You know, it's kind of in pop culture in the United States, but of course it's a very, very ancient symbol and a very ancient idea. So a lot of ancient wisdom here. And I did some research about it. And it turns out that this whole yin yang thing is about mountains and sun. And so the people in China, this is during the Taoist ages, this is quite a long time ago, people in China just simply wanted a way to say, what is the sunny side of the mountain and what's the shady side of the mountain? And to this day, especially in rural China, you will have the sunny side of the mountain towns have yang at the end of their name, and the shady side of the mountain towns will have yin at the end of their name. This was it. This is how it all started. It was just a simple idea of, you know, how do we say which is the sunny and the shady side of the mountain, and how do people know? It was a pretty good idea, though. It took hold, because then we started to say, oh, that's the hot side. Well, then what is this one? This one's the cold side. And if this one's the fire side, what's this one? It's the water side. So now we're moving a little bit away from like the literal need to say what was the sunny and the shady side, right? And it keeps going. Now we have words like passion and nurturing. And now we're not talking about mountains at all anymore. It just keeps going. This classification keeps going. Direction, yang, receptivity, yin, stability, sensuality, bold, subtle, telling, listening. See, now we're even moving into the business world. Push and pull, right? So in my research about this, one of the things I loved about this is that these are not opposites. These are natural and complementary and contradictory forces that one moves into the other quite naturally. And as soon as one side is sort of too full, then the other side comes online. It's just a very natural movement. They're different, but they complement each other. And so it's much more like this. So see how it's moving? And go ahead, and if you want to, just go ahead and move your arms and your hands. Maybe you'll move your hips a little bit, and just to get the feeling of like when one side fills up, the other side comes in. This is a very natural thing in the world. And this is what I want to impart to you about these masculine and feminine energies, is that it's not that one is better than the other. It's not that we need one more than the other necessarily. It's just that one runs its course, the other one needs to come in. That runs its course, the other one needs to come in. It's a very natural cycle. So, I went off to do a little research. It's like, so where are these lists? Where's the list of what the yang energies are and the yin energies? And so the book Shakti Leadership by Namilia Bhatt, and I forget this guy's name and I can't read it. I've got the little thing across the bottom. Sorry about that, buddy. This was the best basket or collection that I could find. So these are in the blue here. These are the yang leadership energies. You know, reason and focus and clarity and order, convergence, freedom, all great things, right? Nothing wrong with those. And the stuff in the gray there around the side are what they call the immature or the hyper yang energies. You know, and sort of these are the complaints, honestly. You know, when the masculine energy goes a little bit too far, it's aggressive or mechanical, spiritually empty, power hungry, cruel, you know. Yes, of course, we see this on our planet. We see it every day, right? And we also see the beauty and the fullness and the directionality of these masculine energies. So just get how directional this is. All of these are moving towards some arrow that's been loosed. This is the way these work. Yeah. So that's the masculine basket, if you will. And the feminine basket also has the positive qualities and then the ones that arise when there's an immaturity or a hyper or an overuse. Yeah. So check out some of these: sensuality, surrender, flow, shadow and depth, vitality, patience, intuition. Also completely needed in our business world, completely needed for the business decisions we're making these days, and highly undervalued so far. So let's not forget, just to round it out, that we do have these immature expressions: irrational, needy, smothering, manipulative. Yes, all of that. We see this in our world as well. Yeah. So what I don't want to do is make a big deal like this is this and that is that. What I want to do is to start opening up our vocabulary about these words and these energies, and to start experimenting with them more so that we can make better business decisions, so that we can do more good for more people more of the time with how we're conducting ourselves in business. So it doesn't escape irony, and it doesn't escape my attention that I had to go outside of myself to find the feminine energies. And here's why. For a huge part of my career, probably up until the time, it started at the time Agile came into my life and then took probably another 10 years. So for a huge part of my life, I was not very much in touch with these feminine energies at all. I had a bunch of masculine shells on top of this little tiny kernel that were these feminine energies that are much more who I'm about. So I like the fact that I could operate with these masculine shells, but they weren't doing me good because they weren't who I fully was. So I love directionality like anyone else, but I also love the circular motion of deepening, of creating meaning, of building trust, of having something generate itself from the deepening rather than just moving. And that's the immature yang coming online when we just move. So I did my own thinking after discovering these lists and reading this book, Shakti Leadership. And I thought, so what is the capabilities of yin leadership? Like, why is it different? And I came up with these phrases that kept coming to mind: enter into, dive deeper, be moved, join with, collaborate, and co-create. And I think this is something that people who are in touch with their feminine essence and energies are able to do that I think we sorely need, which is entering into the shadow, into the part we don't want to look at. For example, into the unintended negative consequence of our actions or our decision. Business, government, every decision we make, even in our own lives, has unintended consequences, and some of those hurt other people. So the willingness to enter into the shadow inside ourselves and inside our situations is something that the yin energies are really good at. And then diving deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper, keep diving until we sense what is trying to happen rather than what we want to force and fit and make happen. And then be moved by the whole situation. Be deeply moved by the impact of the whole thing on people, on the planet. Include all of that so that we can come out the other side and join with beauty and wholeness to create a new way. And then, we never can do it alone. Collaborate with others to create that way. And constantly co-create with what is happening in each moment. So I think this is what is unique and beautiful about the capabilities of yin leadership. And I think that Lynn Twist, who is a heroine of mine, I think she says it beautifully. The capacity to be moved, the capacity to go toward the pain instead of resist it so you can be useful in the world. The capacity to connect on every level, including emotional and spiritual, is a huge part of what women, and I would say feminine energy, brings to the world that is absolutely desperately needed. So I then started paying attention. Like, what are the capabilities happening in business that require this yin energy to come online? What is sort of new, coming to a theater near you soon that we need this yin energy for? And I've done a lot of learning with Otto Schormer and the Presencing Institute and his work in Theory U and other things. And there are emerging capabilities, and they are requiring us to step further into our different kinds of energies. So just on the individual level, let's just talk about listening for a minute. So there's 4 levels of listening in the work that Otto Schwarmer brings to the world. Downloading habits of thought, factual listening, those are the first 2 levels. Empathetic and open-hearted listening is the third. and then generative open presence listening. Those are emerging capabilities. So let's take it now from the individual to the organizational. So the organizational, like these are organizational structures that are changing and evolving over time. So we go from centralized control to divisionalized, right? That's been our history, and that's how a lot of our organizations are currently structured. What's coming online as an emerging capability is this distributed or networked organization around interest groups. And then even beyond that, an ecosystemic way of organizing that changes based on what emerges. So think about those baskets of energies we just talked about. I will posit to you that yin energy must come online if we are going to really move into these emerging and advanced capabilities. So this is one thing I'm paying attention to. Another thing I'm paying attention to is the work of Jennifer Armbrust and what she calls the feminine economy. And if you look at these words, they match really well with the mindset and the value system that we are bringing with Agile. The abundance consciousness, for example, the fact that we ask people to focus. And when they focus, guess what gets created? Abundance. All of a sudden, there is enough. There's enough time. There are enough people. There's enough creativity if we focus on the things that are most important. And this is one of the things we tell people all the time, right? Collaboration, interdependence, empathy, sustainability. These are things we talk about. And so, again, the feminine energy's got to come online if we're going to live into this type of generative economy. And here's one we know really well, right? The Agile Manifesto. And as I look at these statements, what I'm aware of, every time I look at them and I sort of take them in deeply again, I become aware of this again every single time, that each one of these is powered by human relationship systems. What gets the work done is not some mechanical machine. What gets the work done are networks of people, right? Every single one of those relies on us having good human relationship systems skills and healthy human relationship systems. So guess what? We need the yin energy for this, right? Intuition, empathy, connectedness, depth, subtlety, trust. These are things in the feminine energy basket, the yin energies. So here's another piece that I've really been paying attention to. This is a gorgeous, gorgeous book called A New Republic of the Heart by Terry Patton. And I know you can read, but I actually want to read this to you so you can take it in deeply. You might even close your eyes. And he's talking about the yang energy in service of the yin, right? He says at this point in the journey, we must dive deeper into the depths and discover a hidden treasure that shines in the darkness. We tune into this deepest yin essence and discover not an escape, but the soul's passion to show up in life. Our yin listening has earned us a depth that makes something new possible. We can act and choose in yang mode without just going back to the superficial, compensatory, reactive level of our being. Something whole and new becomes possible. We talk about emergence a lot as Agilists. And that's the idea, is that something whole and new becomes possible. Something emerges from this fertile ground that gets created. And I posit that that is from the circling energy of the yin, and then something arises and bam, the yang energy comes online. That's very directional energy, but move toward a goal that is based on meaning and depth, not superficial, compensatory. That's hard to say tonight. Or reactive. So I don't know about you, but I was devastated when the nuclear disaster happened in Japan. And I thought to myself, how in the world do we make a business decision like this? Like, how do we decide to put a nuclear power plant on a fall line on the beach? I don't really understand that. But as devastated as I was then, I was even more devastated just 5 years later when the signature isotope from that particular nuclear power plant showed up on the other side of the globe. See, there's hardly any business decision that's inconsequential anymore. We're too interconnected. We've done too much monkeying around with nature. We pretend like we can make these decisions in isolation. And it's just not so. Those of you in California, I'm aware that you have an oil spill off your shores tonight. The pursuit of growth, the pursuit of progress has given us so much. It has given us so much. And I genuinely honor that. And like we were talking about before with this motion of when something goes too far, when it fills up too much, we have to come back to the other complementary force. And that's, in my opinion, what's happened. We've filled too much up with this progress, this growth for growth's sake. And now we need to come back to wholeness, interconnectedness, and the greater good for as many as possible. So those are criteria that I'd like to see more as we make decisions in business. So we're going to practice together in probably just a very simple way, but I think it'll be fun. And I think that that you'll get to explore, some of these feminine yin energies and these masculine yang energies, and make it specific. You'll be able to apply it to a real decision you've got going on or a real situation in your life. So what I love is if one of you is willing to be a demonstration partner with me. You won't have to say much about your situation at all, but you'll be just exploring these energies with me. Who's willing to do that? JJ, you had your hand up earlier. Are you coming in?
I'd be happy to do it.
Amy Dexter raised her hand too, though.
Oh, then let Amy jump in there.
Okay, great. Thank you. Hey, Amy, unmute yourself.
Hello.
Awesome. Hi, how are you?
I'm doing all right. Yourself?
Good, good. So do you have a current decision in mind, or do you have like a situation you're in you just like a little insight on? You don't have to say what it is, but just get one in mind.
Yes.
Okay, awesome. Yeah. So everyone, Amy and I are demonstrating what you're going to be invited to do in pairs in just a little while. So, Amy, what we're going to do is have a little exploration of 2 yang energies, direction and freedom, and 2 yin energies, beauty and wholeness. Does that sound good?
Sure.
Cool. So let's just sort of, kind of ground in what these are and what these are to you. So what I'm going to invite you to do is tell me which of these you want to explore first, and then we're going to explore it in just some quick vignettes of how you think about these energies. Sound good?
Yeah.
Okay, where do you want to go first?
Let's go to freedom.
Great. So Amy, freedom is like what?
Freedom is like moving water.
Okay, moving water. Yeah. And what happens when the water encounters something with freedom?
it goes around or through or under, it does what it wants.
Yeah, great. It's constantly moving or constantly creating its movement. Yeah? What else would you say about it?
There's some ways that we can try to contain it, but usually they don't work forever.
Okay.
It has a destructive or a entropy to it.
Yes. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Can't be contained. Right. Awesome. Which one do you want to go to next?
Direction.
Okay, direction. All right. So if direction were a breakfast cereal, let's just try that and see if it works. If direction were a breakfast cereal, what would it be?
Wow, that's a hard one.
Then just
It's
drop
gonna
it.
be
Don't
Rice
worry about it.
Krispies.
Rice
Because you
Krispies,
can
okay.
hear people eating their Rice Krispies and you know where they are. There's no question.
It's easy to locate. Yeah, there's a motion that's easy to locate with direction. I love it. Thanks. Let's just keep going. I love it. So directions like what?
It's like a deep sense of this is where I'm going, this is right, this is the direction. It's not confused, it's grounded and certain.
Yeah, deep sense. This is right, grounded and certain. Yeah, you can almost feel that solidity coming into the space right now. Yeah, just got much more clear, solid, grounded. Right. All right, next one.
Beauty.
Beauty. Okay. So when you think of beauty, what images come to mind? Or colors or sounds?
Oh, my flowers.
Your flowers. Yeah. What about your flowers?
They just make me so happy, and they're also they're absorbing and so much light, but they're also giving at the same time. So they're like giving out, but also taking in so well.
Yeah. I like this. Do this motion because that's what this is like, giving out and taking in. Yeah. You can join her in this if you all want. Feel free to do the motion with
There's a dance move like that.
That's right. Awesome. Giving out and taking in. Yeah. All right. Let's just touch base on wholeness. So as you land in wholeness, what do you become aware of right away?
Well, just saying it, I took a bigger breath.
Yeah.
But especially in thinking about work and the kind of the question issue that you had me bring up, it's thinking about where my whole self is. So not bringing part of what feels right or what I think I'm supposed to say or do, but the whole.
Yeah. Yeah. Including it all. Yeah. Nice. All right. So go ahead and of these four, which one do you live in the majority of the time, do you think? Or so it's sort of your like default go-to before you even think about things very much, just sort of happens?
Well, they're all pretty aspirational. But I think I tend to do freedom like water.
Freedom like water. Okay. So imagine that you're standing in freedom like water. Yeah, like it's all around you. And just let's kind of re-invoke that. You said it can't be contained. If there's a rock or something in the way, it's going to find a way around it. Yeah. And as we're both coming into freedom, I'm noticing that like I'm getting wider and bigger. There's something it's big. Freedom's expansive, yeah. So think of your situation for a moment, or your decision, whatever you've got in your mind. What's here for you if you approach that decision with the energy of freedom or situation?
So I first think about my
Mhm.
freedom
Mm-hmm.
and me standing in it. But then I also think about the other people in the situation
Mm-hmm.
and how there's, to some extent, they're going to do and be whatever the heck they're going to do and be too.
They're gonna go around those rocks.
Right. Uh, yeah. So there's some respect there to have for them and for my own needs too.
Okay. Reciprocal, both sides respect that both are free. Yeah. Okay. So let's do the same thing. Let's just like touch into another one of those. I'm going to ask you the same question just to bring that situation to mind. Go ahead and step in one. Which one are you stepping into?
Are we going to do all of them?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna go hard first. This is harder for me. Difficult. Direction.
Direction. Okay, awesome. So now just re-invoke direction. For you, this was like, it's really clear. You can hear people, you know where they are, you know, it's the groundedness came in here. What else do you remember about this one as you're allowing it to come back in your body?
It was certain and confident.
Got it. So if you're bringing the energy of direction to what you have in mind, what becomes possible? Just to explore it.
I hear those people over there eating their Rice Krispies, and I know that I can trust what I'm hearing. So I need to check in with them about what they're doing with their Rice Krispies.
Okay. All right. You know
As
where
opposed
they
to being
are,
like,
and
whatever,
you know
not my monkeys, not my zoo, right?
Yeah. Got it. In this case, they might be. You gotta go check it out.
They might be my monkeys.
Oh, sounds like some insights are already coming up potentially. That's awesome. All right. So, Amy, let me just give you the chance to step off this train because you will have the opportunity to go into a pair in a moment. Is it okay if we just go ahead and I said you would visit all four, but now I'm just realizing we probably don't have to do the other two to give people the demo. Is that okay with you?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, awesome. So basically, rinse and repeat, folks. I would take Amy to whichever one she wants to go to next, have her re-invoke the felt sense of it, whatever images, colors, sounds, whatever came to her, and then ask her this simple question. If you come from this energy, what's possible for your situation or your decision? And then at the end, I'm going to give us some instructions in just a moment. I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing these slides. Because at the end, then you'll just have some time to jot down some insights that you got. Yeah, and JJ saying thank you, Amy. Let's give Amy some love. I totally agree. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's awesome. So here are your steps to explore. And there they are in the chat. Oh, I even have a slide that says this, but let's just focus on the chat. It's too much to go back and forth with the slides, eh? So take a quick tour of all four. Have them go to their most likely energy. Have them bring their situation to mind. Stay in that energy. What does energy offer? What's familiar about it? Is there anything new? Now for Amy, the energy she chose, they were all aspirational to her. So I didn't take her to the she didn't experience the place of the energy not being very resourceful, but that can happen. And if that happens, just stick with these questions. What's familiar about that? Is there anything new? Yeah. And then have them go to the other ones they want to explore. each time. What does it offer? What does it have to say about your situation? Where does it point you? And then, they'll probably get some insights. Amy already has like a couple of different options she probably hadn't thought about or hadn't thought about in that way, right? And we only did half of it. So help me with timing, Chris. If we have people in pairs, are we good on timing?
Yeah, we're
So
good
here's
on
the thing, I'm
timing.
so bad at arithmetic that I didn't want to try to figure out like
You're doing great.
how much more time we have. Okay, good. So what we're going to do is have 6 minutes a person. So 12 minutes. And I'll ask Chris to send you a 6-minute switch to the next person message in your breakouts. And then we're going to give you a 2-minute countdown at the end. So you'll have a little bit of time to, tidy up any loose ends. If you're done, you can have a conversation about what that was like. And if you're not done, then you have a little more time to finish. Does this sound interesting? Yeah, I think I'm seeing some nods. Okay.
And
All right.
I have a quick question for clarity, Lyssa.
Yes.
Are they doing the same 4 energies that you had put up on your slide?
I think that is the simplest, because otherwise I fear that you all would spend a lot of time. I'm going to put them up right now, by the way.
Excellent.
You
I'll
always spend a
type
lot of
them into
time
the
like,
chat so they can take them with them.
yeah, do it. Thank you. Yeah. My fear is that you spend the majority of the time trying to pick. So don't do that, because these are long lists. This is really just, for instance, it's just an example of what you can do. And it's an example of what I'm doing with my leadership clients right now, expanding their range to work with different kinds of energies to approach their decisions. I am all up for more holistic and more healthy decision making. How about you guys? Yeah. All right, Chris.
So direction, beauty, remind me the other 2.
Direction, beauty, wholeness, and someone help us out.
Freedom.
Freedom.
All
okay,
right.
I got him. We got him. We both got him. Good.
Excellent. All right. Anything else before I send folks off?
I don't think. All right. Welcome back. So was that at least interesting? Yeah. Great. So Karen has her hand raised. There's something you want to say, Karen?
Yes. Cheers.
Come on.
Wonderful exercise.
Was it? What was wonderful about it?
Having the privilege of watching the person that I was in the room with unfold and connect inside of herself at a hugely deep level. It was a privilege and an honor.
Yeah. And also happening because of your depth. Yeah. People won't go further than you can hold them, so that's a testament to both of you. Yeah. Great. Is there anything else that wants to be said about that experience? We're getting some things in the chat, but any voices want to come in? Go ahead, JJ.
Something, I was in the room with Candace and she said something that was, perfect. I think it's what you mentioned too, is reflection. I think it's just, you have a chance to see yourself and see how that affects the folks around you. And that's, it's a big thing, because how you are really does. It does, how it reflects and puts people in a place that is good, or they see you as maybe there's something else that's going on and maybe it's not in a great place. So it's good for reflection. I like that.
Yeah. And you're still in the reflection the way you're talking. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's great. Yeah, it's great. Paula, what would you like to say?
I think that this opens you to think about a situation beyond the black and white and beyond what, like, your emotions and your feelings, your experiences right then, to encompass a bigger realm of what it can be, so you can explore solutions in a broader sense. Because it's helping you see things through like different eyes almost. Like it brings new clarity or new ideas that maybe you haven't explored. Yeah, I feel like I feel like I'm stumbling right now, but I feel like it was like a deeply emotional, like, it brought clarity. It brought some like, oh, maybe there's some ahas in here that like I don't think I would have gotten to.
Yeah. Yeah. Good work. It sounds like you did really good work. Nice. Yeah, one of my favorite questions is, what does this energy make available? You know, because as you're saying, Paula, there's something new that comes up. Maybe it was always there, but we didn't know it was available.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Nice. Nice. So this is just the idea of getting more facility with more of these energies. And if we see that ourselves or someone else or a team, if we see them stuck in a certain energy, then pick up something from the other basket. You know, maybe they're stuck in, you know, people can get stuck in the feminine energies for sure. You know, maybe they're stuck in empathy. You know, have them pick something up from the masculine energies and try that on, you know, and just exactly like you did it with each other, just have them call to mind, you know, like, so, you know, what is this one like? What images come to mind? You know, what's the sound of it? You may or may not do the breakfast cereal one. That one is a little bit difficult. Amy did awesome with it, you know. But just have them, you know, sort of get into the energy and then ask the questions, you know, what does this bring up that's new? You know, what does this energy tell you? Where does it point you? You know, all that sort of stuff. What does it make available? Really awesome. So I just have a couple more messages that I think are important to deliver tonight, because there are a lot of things we're sort of recovering from, because up until this moment in time, these feminine energies have been marginalized, and people have even been victimized when they have occupied them, you know. So I want to just share just a couple more slides with you, and specifically two ideas that I think are really key for being able to expand your capacity and to try on different energies, and especially to step into these yin energies, these feminine energies. And the first idea is this: I am enough. I had the pleasure of working with groups of women in the Agile space in the 10 Women Strong programs. And I got to tell you, 9 times out of 10, it boiled down to a disbelief of being enough, of being sufficient for the moment. And so this is a key thing to sort of a belief to sort of take on board. And if you don't believe it, just keep telling it to yourself over and over again, and allow yourself to move into these yin energies to support you. Yeah. The other idea is this one: my body is wise. And just so you have a little experiment of it, just rub your hands together like this real fast and like build up some heat. Yeah, build up a lot of heat. And in a moment, you're going to put your hands anywhere on your body where it would feel good. Go ahead anytime you want. And the reason we're doing this is because our business world has highly privileged and prioritized things from the neck up, essentially, like logical thinking and all of these things, these wonderful masculine energies that are maybe just a little bit too overplayed. And we don't necessarily tap into the wisdom of our bodies, but boy, are our bodies talking to us all the time. And so as we bring on these feminine yin energies more, there is a lot that has to do with your soma, with your body, and how your body is a source of intelligence and a source of information that allows all of us to make better decisions. So these two things are difficult notions for people to take on board, many people. And so I wanted to just offer you a couple things. If I am enough is a struggle for you, as it is for so many people, hire a coach. And you can also take control of your internal state, especially before a meeting or before an interaction with someone. That dignity, belonging, sufficiency thing that I led us through at the beginning, our friend Deb Preuss has recorded it for us. And so you've got that down there. And if you need to work on my body is enough, one of my favorite things to do are those movement videos. And that's one of them that we were doing when you came in tonight. And some of you did it with me, which I loved. And these two books are like really important, I think, for stepping into the My Body is Wise space. Body of Wisdom is an amazing book, really talking about the necessity of the yin energies. And Body Keeps the Score. So many of us have experienced trauma to our bodies and our psyches. And this book can help us understand how it is stored in our muscles, stored in our bodies, and what to do about it. So thank you so much for exploring with me and for taking on this topic. I think it's important. I think that we must bring on more holistic energies for us to make better decisions, and for us to start having a more just and thriving and maybe even beyond sustainable, maybe regenerative presence on the planet. That's what I hope for.